Standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome and thanks very much for joining us. And today we invite you to start, with us as we invite our friends from UCCI. Talk about the commencement ceremony coming up shortly, 1:30 from the HSA. We get a chance to join with the physicians and encourage us to look at our health and our wealth as being one and the same. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back. In the studio, if you go online to our YouTube or Facebook, you'll see, we always have wonderful people borrowing from Mr. Jeff Schofield. We just don't find them in the parking lot. Although, Honorable Kenneth Bryan did that the other day with Mr. Quincy Brown, and he found good people. So we got good people no matter whether we seek them with consciously and deliberately or if we allow them to enter our lives. And today, Dr. Livingston Smith from UCCI, thanks for coming in. The idea that through education, we have not just, sort of the equalizer, but we have the empowering entity that can bring everyone to that sense of objectivity, that sense of encouragement, inspiration, but also participation. And for some, it's the joy of walking across that stage and receiving that handshake and that piece of paper. And for others, the greater joy is to watch that person attain that thing, whether they're still very, very young in their formative years, or it's been a life dream interrupted by wars and family and the like. Because we've seen many who, in the 8th and 9th decade in life, finally get this thing that is not just an honorary, sort of confer, something that they've wanted and they've just waited, and finally, they were able to achieve. For those who haven't had that experience to watch or to receive, how do you describe that? I mean, it's amazing.
It is an amazing experience, Dwayne. It's good to be here, and just to hear you put it that way, that when you have worked for something deliberately and diligently, and then you have attained it, it does bring a certain level of joy and sense of accomplishment that goes with it, definitely.
Indeed. Some would say it was validation, perhaps. It's maybe for some that thing that gives them that space, but to do that, and not only because you're the first in your family, maybe your great-grandparents got some formal education through apprenticeship, then, their children, and then here you are 4 generations later. It doesn't matter, is that you have done it. It kind of, I liken it to what they say, there are going to be 3 surprises in heaven. Who's there, who isn't, and the fact that you are.
Yes. And the latter would be the most surprising part of it.
And the thing is, when people see others, receive this degree.
Right.
If we're honest with ourselves, there are probably times when we thought, man, I don't know if I can make this. There's such a demand that a calculus class, that philosophy class.
Yes.
You know, you might have been
And many of our students speak to that, you know, say, boy, I can't believe that I've finished my program.
Yes.
And let's put finished in quotation marks, because you have achieved it at a particular point.
Right.
All right. But they talk about it, the sense that they started, and they had the temerity to even with difficulties sometimes, to complete it.
Yes.
And that is something to be celebrated, because our students have done different programs. You mentioned about some persons are more practical oriented. We have TVET programs. Many of them have done that. And the level of skills that they have that they require to attain is very important. And so our students have accomplished a lot over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think they've been tested, their temerity and their tenaciousness. But I think what they will all agree is that at some point there was someone who was the champion, the cheerleader, the parent, the spouse, the sibling, the classmate.
Yes.
And if more of us are that to someone, the more that the attainment, the achievement, this accomplishment will be acknowledged.
Sterling, you're making a big point there, because in many instances we see the person go up and applause, but it's the community of persons that helps to do that. And there are so many instances of persons saying, you know, I'm graduating, but thanks to my mother, my sibling, whoever it is, who helped me go across the stage.
You had shared with me, Dr. Livingston, you know, what we were discussing. I was told initially that this discussion that we're going to have about commencement was the subsequent one to this.
Right.
And so in preparing for it, I hope he, like many, but if he doesn't mind, and partly because not only is he was and probably is a public sort of official in a sense, but what he has done has been a public inspiration to many. Mr. Marco Archer.
Yes.
Very diligent.
Yes.
I remember him doing his MBA on weekends. I remember when he did his project management course, he left Ireland and as part of, you know, that wonderful Caribbean program, he gets to take a residency and do the stuff. But when he was doing his law degree, he worked full time, went to school full time, calculated his vacation, his days off time back, and he worked with diligence.
Yes.
And I can't begin to imagine the level of personal sacrifice, family, children, just socializing, just life. And yet he attains something that inspires on a personal level to this day. And it shows you what we can achieve with that commitment, but with that sort of, you know, champions.
And what I normally say, Dwayne, is that I've seen so many instances of brilliance, but it is not necessarily the most brilliant person, you know, who goes to the top. It is the person who perseveres, you know, and who has honed the skills of discipline. You know, the example you're mentioning obviously is both, but it's a great example of what it takes. And I want to encourage persons as I'm at it. We are starting a new semester just now. And if you really want to experience what we're talking about, it's now time for you to go and get registered. All right?
Was it that we always hear, the Chinese pro, the longest journey begins with a single step?
Yes.
I think sometimes it begins with a thought. and we know that to be true, but do you remember when you may have been, well, you probably different. You probably were studying in the room, but there was a bit of reticence, insecurity. You're not sure, you know. But once you start and you get somewhere, and then you want a little, and then a little more, and then a little more, and before you know
and
it.
sometimes, you know, we have advisors too who can sit you down and say, what do you have in mind, you know. And sometimes you just need that extra push, and to kind of hone what
Yes.
you know, where you want to go. All right. Now at UCCI, we're going to start classes on September 3. All right. But right now, we're saying to the public, we're saying to our current students, please go now and get registered.
Right.
All right. You can do it online. Our current students can go online and get registered. And for our new students who are going to start out shortly, your dates are the 26th to the 30th of August. It will be in the Sir Basil Johnson Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Just go there and get yourself ready. Well, of course, for now, for new students, we're just urging you want to start UCCI, go online, do the application, get accepted, get your login details, your username, upload your documents and get started. All right, because that is very important now that we are revving up to start the new school year.
Well, listen, I'm going to pause and take the first break. When we come back, we have a continued excellent conversation with Dr. Livingston. And remember, 1:30, HSC will join us in the presence of Dr. Ramonde Rohan moving. And then we'll have some open line in between. And that's where Susan and I are going to sing. We're going to... She's like, no, Bobo, not today. But that's what's going to happen. So please rejoin us after the break.
It's that time of year again. Cayman Airways is celebrating its anniversary with airfares on sale. Tickets are now on sale for some of your favorite destinations: Miami, Tampa, New York, Los Angeles, Kingston, La Ceiba, Panama, Havana, and even Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. But hurry, this sale ends August 10th. Other conditions apply. Book online at CaymanAirways.com or call 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 56 years as Cayman's award-winning national airline.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks to UCCI and this time to Dr. Livingston Smith for joining us. I'm glad that you are here. And of course, we can stay until the scheduled hour at 1 if you wish. But unlike me, I'm at work. You got to get back to your desk.
Right.
I might get paid much. No, I get paid a lot, dude. Do that for why? Susan, what is it? 500 grand a month? A lot of dollars.
It's a 50,000 you said?
No, 500. Well, come on. Listen, man, with the cost of everything. That is... No. Partly in saying that, I keep saying to many people that we don't understand when we talk about the cost of education is expensive.
Right.
There's a corresponding side to that
Yeah,
coin.
think about ignorance.
And it's not just the lack of knowledge. I think it's the lack of desire to seek answers, to seek out. Scripture says, "You're knocking, you shall find." And if not, call Dr. Smith. That's good.
I want to add to what you're saying there by just encouraging listeners.
Yes.
All right. I mean, I don't want to, but it's important to encourage listeners. If you want to begin studying, and in fact you should start some studies, right? And UCCI is an excellent place to do so. Dwayne, our commencement was postponed because of burial.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be on the 22nd of August, right? And we have over 250 students who are graduating. Because of the change of date, some of them will not be here physically. They would have moved on already to schools in Britain. In fact, as you know, many of our students do 2 years here. Some stay on to do their bachelor's degrees and their master's degrees. Others go on immediately to some of the best schools in the UK, in the USA, and the Caribbean. Right? While I'm at it, I will say to you that the same universities that those who do A-levels go to, those who come to UCCI and do an associate degree, they end up at the same schools, University of London and University of Law, whatever it is. All right? And you stand a very good chance of coming to UCCI and completing your associate degree because we're right there with you to take you through that. Right. So the commencement is on the 22nd. All right. And
August the 22nd.
Yeah. Right. And I want to just speak some more about that. We have our commencement speaker going to be Miss Vanessa Slowly. She's a former CEO, has a gripping story to tell. Our students are graduating in a whole plethora of programs at UCCI, and significantly also will be honoring one of Cayman's most important artists. Do you know the name of the person, Mr. Sterling?
I do, and if it wasn't for the great respect that I have for him and his parents, the entire family, because in that family we see people in the medical profession, perhaps the most important one in the nursing. We see, his younger brother in architecture. We see the entrepreneur nature of his other brother. But his father being a seafarer. But there's a part of me who wants to joke and say, Ray Banker, right? But no. In honoring someone like can I call him Mr. Bendel? Because, we just call him as Bendel.
Right.
In honoring Bendel Heights, let me ask, at this time, despite his recent passing and pray his soul rest in peace, why now? Why at this particular ceremony, if I can ask publicly?
Actually, it has been in the work for some time. And we had hoped that it would be while he was alive. And we worked, we were ready to give the award. And again, he passed at the time. But it's going to be given posthumously. I want to throw to you also a desire we have to have a program, just an entire even hour here with you about Mr. Hyde. People like Mutu and so will come along to talk about, and of course Miss Natalie at the is a significant person, very significant person.
I think so.
Right, and when you learn about the quality of his art. And the way he laid the foundation of this in the Cayman Islands is something to be celebrated, and that's why we are honoring him with an honorary doctorate to Mr. Bendel Heights.
And this is where I think in those discussions when we talk about recognizing our people, giving them their deserved respect, but it also serves, I think, to inspire and instill. Some would even say inculcating in our own people that sense of national identity and pride. And from a distance, despite Bendel being a few years my senior, I can speak to his contemporaries. They can tell stories of when they were in school, high school. We can read about his first, in terms of academic achievements from the exams he sat. We can understand from him, if we've had that good fortune, and his company when he would visit, about not so much the struggles but the perseverance we can appreciate the challenges that we may have in a Cayman society that has been and is evolving. Dr. Roy Boyd talks about, a Cayman in transition. And here is someone whose work, I think, the little that I appreciate about art can hold its own amongst the renowned artists of centuries past.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There was a piece that hung in the lobby at what was then the Swiss Bank, the UBS building. And as you drove past, now it's Maiden Place, and this huge painting was on the wall. Many a morning and evening I was slow just to look at it. I've gone there a few times in the reception. I just want to see it because there was a presence about it. There was something, and the realization that I know who did this. I know a little bit of the story, but I know of the people. And whether it's a Rembrandt or Van Gogh, it doesn't matter. It holds its own. So honoring in this way is befitting, but it's also, I think, beneficial to us to see that we have great in a space that is quite small. Numbering very few, but recognizing that if we don't...
And the award will be in this way. There will be a citation read by one of our professors, and then a family member will come forward to receive it on his behalf. And where the family members are going to come out in good numbers too, just to be part of that, along with persons from the it's called the art community. Will be coming just to honor. We're going to have a moment of silence also.
I think it's a reminder that when you commit to something, perhaps liken it to that child who has a desire to study medicine, engineering, education, and starts out, maybe it's high school, maybe it's sixth form or some other studies, UCCI for instance, and then through that formal acquisition of the associates, bachelor's, master's, PhD, postgrad, a lifetime of learning.
Yes.
And it's not, as you shared, this first sort of acquisition of that piece of paper on that night of, graduation, that commencement ceremony. That's just one more step
and
in
that's
a life
why
journey.
we call it commencement.
Yes.
You're starting out. Really.
You're.
Well, I want to say some more, Sterling, about Mr. Hyde, for persons who might want to know who is this person that we're honoring. The first Caymanian to pursue an art degree abroad, studying at Liverpool College of Art. All right. And so he was, apart from his natural skill, he was also formally trained as an artist. He was the co-founder of the Cayman National Cultural Foundation and also of the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Hyde co-founded Macfield Square Galleries and played a key role in the In Theatre, the precursor to the CNCF. He was appointed a cultural attaché to the USA in 2004. He had many exhibitions. In fact, he had 22 exhibitions at prestigious venues such as the Commonwealth Institute of London and the 23rd International Biennial in Brazil. He exhibited globally and had a presence in the art world. His collections include in public and private collections. The National Gallery has some of his works and other places. Mr. Hyde received numerous awards, including Gold Star for Creativity in the Arts Medal. The inaugural National Gallery's Biennial Art Award was named in his honor in 2019. So we're saying at UCCI that our award is going to top it all off, all right, because of the significance of Mr. Bendel Hyde. All right, we have given these awards before. This is the most current one we're giving to Mr. Hyde.
Well deserved.
Yes.
Dr. Smith, when we come back from the break, can we ask two things? We're talking more about the commencement and the importance and how, you got 250 students, you're going to be, they have their families. Any space, the Truma Warden Sports Complex can only hold so many. Any space has a limited capacity. So two things for those who want to attend, is it do you need an invitation? Is it also going to be available to view prompts?
I'll speak to that for sure.
All right. Yeah. And then could you tell us more about your commencement speaker?
Yes.
Because I think many times people don't appreciate those individuals who are invited to address the graduating class, as it were, are as much an important part of the... All right, let's talk about that. And then 1 o'clock, we'll do the news, some open line till 1:30. And then our good friends over at HSA joins us. We talk about obesity. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway Series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with the creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway Series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
It's that time of year again. Cayman Airways is celebrating its anniversary with airfares on sale. Tickets are now on sale for some of your favorite destinations: Miami, Tampa, New York, Los Angeles, Kingston, La Ceiba, Panama, Havana, and even Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. But hurry, this sale ends August 10th. Other conditions apply. Book online at CaymanAirways.com or call 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 56 years as Cayman's award-winning national airline.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Hi everyone, I'm Roy McTaggart and I'm here with Joey Hugh to tell you about an exciting Progressives event coming up.
That's right, Roy. We're inviting all members and friends of the Progressives to our National Council meeting.
It's happening on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. at the Seafarers Association Hall, 11 Victory Avenue in Prospect.
Join us to hear about our plans and bold vision for the upcoming election and meet our dedicated Progressives members of Parliament in person.
And yes, there will be delicious food and drinks.
We can't wait to see all of our Progressive family and friends here. It's a great opportunity to get involved and stay informed.
So join us at the Seafarers Hall on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. See you there.
Stronger, safer, future. Vote Progressive. Caring and
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much to Dr. Livingston Smith and all of his colleagues over at UCCI for what I think has been an opportunity for us to appreciate that true education, for some it's an employment opportunity, others it's greater advancement in that employment, But I believe many, it's that personal gratification, fulfilling that life stream, maybe honoring that commitment to that parent or grandparent or, great aunt who said, I want you to get that piece of paper.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when you have it, it is something that sort of positions you in a way. And so as you reminded us, August the 22nd is the commencement. I like the way you shared it with us. It's the reason why it's called a commencement. For some of us, we may think it's the conclusion.
No, it's not.
But it's that thing that we've gotten to hopefully will continue.
Right. Or when you get your BA, it's the first 2 letters of the alphabet.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
You asked about
yes,
our commencement speaker. Mm-hmm. And we chose her, of course, because of what she will bring to the occasion. Her name is Vanessa Slowey. She is an acclaimed former CEO. She's a transformational leader. She has an interesting story to tell about her own life and the kinds of opportunities that she had, but also the many things that she had to overcome to become the person that she is today. And we believe that that is going to resonate with the students, with the graduates, and with the entire audience. All right, because the fact is, Dwayne, nobody goes through life, without something, and she has something to say to the graduates. Yeah. So it's going to have all the wonderful things about commencement, but we're keeping it real. Yeah. We're keeping it real for our graduates, and I did mention that it's a big hall we have. Each graduate has a number of persons they can invite to the occasion. If you can't be there, it's going to be streamed. It's going to be streamed on UCCI, Facebook, and other media houses. We'll also have it. All right. So there's no reason why it can't be a part of the UCCI commencement on August 22nd, and we're going to be having our best students, those who got top of the class honored. They'll be there to talk about their experiences and things like that. But I also want to use this occasion to encourage our listeners to get registered. If you want to start this semester, it's now time to do that. All right. For our returning students, go online right now, please. Classes are filling up. Go online, get registered. All right. If you have any issues that you can come by and do it physically. For our new students, all right, your dates are the 26th to the 30th of August, where you can come to the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall and get everything done up. But for the time being, please go online also and get registered. Go make sure that you get accepted online by uploading your documents, filling out the forms, and things like that. Yeah. All right.
And whether it's a 4-year program or shorter, I don't think many of us appreciate that at the end of that time, how quickly the time passed. Perhaps sitting here and thinking, well, June from now, it's an academic year. But when June comes, you go, June's here. It seems like a week in a sense, despite all the other things that you may have had to endure and embrace. So it goes fast when you look back at the time past.
Yes.
So maybe don't look forward too much and become overwhelmed by, it's 2 years, it's 4 years.
And enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, the learning that you'll be part of. And just to excite persons, let me just read out some of the areas that our graduates are going to be rewarded for studying. There are some of them who are graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, with concentration in accounting, in management. Some have concentrated on human resource management, marketing. We have students graduating with their bachelors in computer science, some with their bachelor in nursing, and they're going to go off for right to work. We have Bachelor of Science in Primary Education, in the social sciences, in social work. All these are bachelor's graduates. We have those who are graduating with their 2-year associate degree qualification in areas such as accounting, in applied business administration, in science, in applied science, in hospitality management, in hotel. There are those who have done business administration. Some have done literary studies, primary education, public administration, social sciences, social work, computer science, engineering, mathematics. Some have done specialist areas in biology and chemistry, environmental and marine science, computer technician, and so on. And some of the TVET-related areas, Dwayne, include construction technology, electrotechnology. Some have done tourism at different levels, IT, and so on. Because UCCI has a range of possibilities. You can start with a certificate, go on to your associate degree, to your bachelor's degree, and even up to your master's degree.
You reference, before you go too far into your...
Right.
You reference engineering.
Right.
Can you share a little bit more about that? Because we can see the bachelor, the nursing program, we can see the education programs, the teaching. We know UCCI for its business programs.
Yes.
But talk to us about the engineering. Just expound on that if you can, just slightly.
Well, I'm not into that area as
that's why I'm asking.
But certainly we have at least 15 graduates in engineering technology.
Yeah.
All right. And you have mechanical engineering and computer engineering, and if a person specializes and they go on to do work in that.
Yes.
These are really good areas, really good areas for a person to do. Some time ago, Dwayne, I was here with a leader from St. Matthew's.
Yes.
And we're talking about the MOU we have with St. Matthew's, where you come to UCCI, do our science program, get a particular GPA, you can... Of course, you can go elsewhere to do medicine. Many of our graduates go to UWI or in UCC and so on, and in UK to do medicine. Yeah. But you can also stay here. You can go to St. Matthew's to do either of their degrees. I think one is in traditional medicine, and the other in
and this
take
is
of animals.
Something that again, it's just a personal perspective, but like the employee and. I would say, hopefully encouraged, facilitated by the employer, taking your staff and seconding them to other offices, if you have that capacity, or even somehow positioning them. So, for instance, within the public service, maybe we work with the UK Public Service in some capacity, Bank of England for a monetary authority. You get that exchange of knowledge, you get that appreciation for different working climates and the like. But if our students also can study abroad, whether it's a semester at sea program, whether you spend 1 year studying in a different jurisdiction. And so in saying that, here you have shared through our students graduate in UCCI, they may do their associates and then transfer.
Right.
But there's a great benefit in doing not just the financial benefit, not just support of your environment, doing your initial courses here. Maybe it's your bachelor's and then you do your master's elsewhere.
Yes.
I don't know that we appreciate the importance of that. And so, in understanding that we will have subsequent discussions, I reached out to 2 of your former graduates who did just that. Some have done a master's, one did the bachelor's here. And they both said that, if it wasn't for that sort of acclimation,
the foundation,
that's, you're a good student in high school, but university is a little bit different. And UCCI, they found to be that sort of transitional phase where you still had enough support of, your professors, as it were, unlike being thrown in deep end in a university with 30,000.
I agree with you. Yeah. And as somebody who has been there now for 24 years, I can say definitively that our students have completed their associate degrees and have gone to some of the best schools elsewhere. Some have stayed in and have done their bachelor's degrees and have gone to their master's elsewhere.
Yes.
All right. And some have done their master's degrees, and I've known persons who have done their doctorates.
Yes.
All right. So the fact is that I can't think of any school that would not take our associate degree. Sometimes it depends on what you're going into, may have to stay a bit longer, but they can get into those schools.
Well,
all right. The other day, for example, one of our past students went to do her master's at the University of London. Very, very, and there are many other schools that they go on to do their.
Well, Dr. Smith, always appreciate having you and your colleagues in. Looking forward to some of our scheduled discussions coming up. So in closing now, you see, I enjoy your company. That if I wasn't reminded of the time, we would be chatting, and then next thing you know, one of us would be chastised.
So let me just emphasize two things.
Yes,
one, our commencement is going to be on August 22nd.
Yes, sir.
All right, and. We want to encourage our listeners, we want to encourage our current students to go and get registered right away.
Mm-hmm.
And for our new students, come along on the 26th. But for now, please go on and get yourself accepted into one program or another.
All right. Well, thank you always. I hope that you and all your colleagues feel, as welcome and have a hospital invitation when you do it. Come, as we would like all of our guests, but thanks. Education is that foundation, is that pillar in our society. I'm glad that public and private, institutions have made that investment. Students have made a commitment. Our governments have provided the support.
Yes.
Individuals like yourself share of your acumen, your intellect. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It was great to be here, and I look forward to it.
Are you ready? She's like, I don't know, Bobo. Well, get ready, because when we come back in the studio, just kidding. Stay tuned. Join us after the break.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Police are investigating multiple incidents this past weekend involving a group of between 2 and 10 juvenile males who allegedly fired a pellet or gel blaster gun at members of the public in Georgetown. The incidents occurred between 8 and 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, the 2nd and 3rd of August, in the vicinity of Newport Avenue, Couture Street, Hope Drive, and Paxton Street. No injuries have been reported, but police are urging these juveniles to stop immediately. They're also advising parents to speak with their children about the potential consequences of their actions. In international headlines, the newly formed Liat 2020 made its inaugural flight to St. Lucia today, signaling the return to the skies of the interregional airline, whose previous owners, Liat 1974 Limited, went bankrupt in January this year. Jamaica is celebrating its 62nd anniversary of political independence from Britain, with its main political leaders expressing different positions regarding the future direction of the country. And in Bermuda, Premier David Byrd has confirmed that 2 senior members of his cabinet, including the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs and Constitutional Reform, Kathy Lynn Simmons, have stepped down from their positions. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman-Brac, on the 8th day of July, 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Not only did Captain Scott work the seas for over 52 years, but he was mathematically inclined. In the early 70s, Captain Scott received his first calculator, eventually moving on to computers. After retiring from sea, Captain Scott used his knowledge of navigation, his love for mathematics, and general knowledge to write various computer programs that would impact the lives of the people of the Cayman Islands, such as payroll calculation and a program that could tell the depths at any point of the Georgetown Harbor, which would allow him to give any ship in port the coordinates to drop anchor. However, his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. To create this program, he first drew the world map by using actual coordinates from the various coastlines around the world, including the most minute coves. This information would be transmitted by his shipping mates from around the world, making him the local reliable source on storm predictions.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we reference, some open line now until 1:30. And then in partnership with HSA, we had a discussion with one of the internal medicine physicians to talk about obesity. We want to encourage all and sundry alike to appreciate the value of, both being healthy and, if I can just say generally, educated. That comes in many forms. For some, it's, they've gotten a piece of paper, and that is keen. But life gives you education experience that sometimes is the greatest teacher. We look at our seafarers, as our fathers, some of us as older brothers, some of our uncles and grandfathers and the like, and they experience the world. And we learn and sometimes lived vicariously through them. So to the students, graduating high school, university, those who are pursuing continuing studies thereafter, we want to encourage all to do so. We want to invite the community to be supportive, to respect and recognize that we can do and we should do as much as we can. It may mean a financial assistance or some other accommodation. It may mean that you're helping that person in the studies by doing some things that had that person taking time to do, that would be time away from getting that paper done, getting that assignment completed, getting that chapter read, getting that practicum, sort of out of the way. And once that is completed, then, they can continue with acquiring other knowledge through, engagement. And to those who sponsor, well, thank you. The investment, will pay dividends not just to that individual, but for, I think, ever and a day. Well, let's have some open line. 949-837, 949-6990. One of our listeners messaged and asked if Dr. Smith and myself had coordinated the wearing of pink today. His tie was pink, my shirt is. I want to joke and jest and say I looked in the closet and found a shirt that needed the least ironing. No, I didn't. I did that yesterday. No, just kidding. I just thought, what? I know what I have on the schedule today, and it is a little bit warm outside. So something that didn't require too much fabric. Wasn't too heavy, on the shoulders. Somewhat cool because of how it is. Might just be a little bit, better. Now, what are we doing? How are we doing it? And, when are we going to get started? 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the kind compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. Today, two callers, I publicly apologize to you. I was supposed to inquire and I did not, who had shared that they are calling from a non-Flow number. And we were of the impression, as I was, that the other calls to the toll-free line didn't matter who your subscriber was or our provider. So we'll find out that they were getting the message over, and this is a paid call. That's still happening to some. I know the two that I spoke with. We will find out. listen, I've got great resources here, and if she doesn't mind me saying so publicly, we have Miss Susan. Nobody else has a Miss Susan, but everybody should. So 949-8037 or 949-6990, and we take this next WhatsApp call. No, not yet. Oh, sorry, Miss Susan. I had a thought, She was telling me, tell people that you can also call on the WhatsApp line. That number, if you want to use WhatsApp to call, it's 925-3261. You can send a WhatsApp message, voice note, however you do that, 925-3261, and share with us. It is very, very interesting to sit in a community the size of the Cayman Islands and to be, in the presence of people who have a strong command of the global sort of landscape, whether it's a geopolitical landscape, as some have taken to calling it, whether it's, current affairs, whether it's an appreciation for maybe just the politics. That discussion is now about how the UK, government is going to do and not do, and will it honor its promises, and will we see more nationalized industries, will we see, higher taxes in certain areas, and, other things. Or, well, what's going to happen with the upcoming US presidential elections. And then there are those who are keen to follow, the world financial markets. We've seen things transpire. The Japan Nikkei, was it yesterday, and even comments since by our own people as to, well, why is that? What's happening relative to world currencies? Where would that lead us? We are able to learn from people who, through their own academic sort of experience and expertise, share, so that we are appreciative, but we also recognize that they are, investing, whether it's commodity trading, whether they are, looking after their financial sort of retirement planning. And this is in this small space. I say that to emphasize that we have great resources within this country, many of whom have come from elsewhere and been here for a long time. Many of us have benefited, and if I might include ICCI as well as UCCI, from the learning opportunities that exist. Or we look at schools who have, from time to time, set up little financial clubs and introduce people in the notion of investments and business competitions. We look at Cayman Enterprise City, for instance, and through the incubator program, through the opportunities that they provide for a business design competition, people can pitch their ideas, they get a benefit from other people, and just that alone can prove, not just invaluable, but the difference between someone considering and pursuing something and maybe just a thought that stays with them. That's what strengthens our community, and we need to recognize that. Should we continue to promote and protect that stability, the economic stability, the social stability, the political stability, then we have a society that is not only safe, but a society where we, as very young, or if we're fortunate enough to be, later in years, we can move about safely, freely, enjoying what the country has to offer. So, with that in mind, what do you see happening in our country that potentially could be a threat to that? Now, you might think, oh, it's too late. Well, don't think we should accept things as a fait accompli. Or we should always have a sense of hope. We should always be as positive and encouraging as we can. Now, you might say, increasing costs to the business, the cost of living. You might say, well, we're seeing, crime, and not just, allow it to be, petty crime, or crime, that is over there, or because of them. But it affects us all, and not just the perception from outside, but the actual realities of those who are here and now. and the impact on our quality of life. Then you might say, well, things are not bad relatively. And that's an interesting way to categorize things. It may cause us to want to be able to, justify certain behaviors because, relatively speaking, it's better than. Or we may be able to, in some ways, consider that it's not that significant now. But at the end of the day, if it's ignored, will it be something that gets worse? Or do you think it'll go away? And with that in mind, as we look at what is happening, you might conclude, well, it's not all those things. It's just that you have to work much longer hours, not only to make more in order to have more to pay for the increased expenses. You might say it's the longer hours that takes you away from enjoying life, spending time with your family and making memories. And you might say, well, you know what, when I retire, that could be 30 years from now, you might feel that you're, only 5 years away. But what is that cost now in anticipation of enjoying it later? Not only that no one is promised tomorrow, but the fact that in so doing, is the quality of life impacted? Is that something that we can measure? Is it something that we should consider? And if you then look across the table at your colleague and somehow conclude that colleague, that neighbor, someone that you heard of, read of, is able to enjoy seemingly a better quality of life, how does that make you feel? What are you questioning? Does it inspire you? Does it cause you to look at our own actions and go, well, that person is putting in greater effort. They have acquired, continually acquiring skills. They now bring something to the table that makes them much more employable, much more beneficial to the entity. There may be other reasons. Or do you look at the individual and have a sense of, jealousy, begrudge, resentment? I'm sure many of us have done both. Maybe not in the same day. But which one's more beneficial? Can we borrow a page from that person and figure out how we can upskill, can contribute more as we desire more? Or there may be some of us who don't seek more. In terms of the material, we seek more in terms of that which is memorable. That time with the family. That afternoon where it's about playing marbles or going fishing as opposed to extra hours, trying to make more money. But then there are many who would love to do that, but they just can't. They have, as some would say, more month than money. At the end of the day, the paycheck doesn't go as far, the demands and expectations. Well, how do we address that? Can we address that? Is it for the elected government? Is it for the sort of social safety net? Hey, 949-8037, 949. Thank you, Miss Susan. 6990. You can WhatsApp call 925-3261. Share with us as you wish. I recognize that sometimes as we move about the physical space, we can see seemingly less people, on the road. The traffic congestion isn't as bad. Some who are employed in, say, the restaurants and hospitality may say not as many customers. Perhaps you may find the supermarkets not as crowded as when you normally go. And for some, that's a celebration. For others, it's cause for concern. I say that to ask, as the Plan Cayman initiative, draws to what we would say hopefully is just the first round of, input from community. I'm grateful to Cletus, Mr. Kenneth Ebanks and the team for coming together, putting together their thoughts in the process of having it submitted to the planning department for consideration by CPA and then potentially, onwards to the ministry and for cabinet. And again, what probably may transpire is that once all that feedback is collated, then it'll be, again, put out in the public domain for continued public input, not in this endless loop, but in the intent, with the intent that we have a document, maybe akin to what was the Vision 2008 exercise. What will be, the Cayman in 20 years? What will be the impact of our actions in the next 2 years? Talking to someone earlier, and he said, if you take, a large vessel, you want to, have it come to port, dock. You don't come full speed in and then all of a sudden put on the brakes. You start that process a long ways out, because she's just gonna take a while to, come to that spot. Well, this may be the same thing. We want to get it right, not necessarily be defined by an arbitrary timeline, but we should put, some guardrails in place, some, time constraints, with the intent that you participate. Many of us wait until after and go, man, I wish I had. And that's perhaps, as they say, human nature. But for those who step up and are diligent, dedicated, they're determined, they're committed, they are, genuinely invested, then that's good, because many of us don't think we have the resources, the ability, the time. We perhaps don't feel that we are sufficiently equipped to do those things, and we benefit from many who do. So for those who serve in that capacity, thank you. Let's hear from you. Let's check, make sure all is good in this space and place where there's still much to be done. So as we get ready to take this next call, toll free at 1-800-534-8255 with the kind compliments of Flow. You can also dial us on 949-8037 or 949-6990, and of course WhatsApp. But let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling. All right. Sometimes it happens, and we do, recognize technology doesn't always do what we want when we do. To that last caller, just give us a sec. Let us just do, what we say. Susan will work her thing to make sure that we can reconnect up. WhatsApp call 925-3261, toll free with the compliments of Flow if you choose. And that's a toll free call at 1-800-534-8255. And you can also dial us on 949-6990 or on 949-8037. Had a somewhat of a, disjointed discussion. To the caller who's ringing, just give us one quick minute to catch that. Not to talk out of school, but Susan right now is literally doing something that just occupies her for a moment. And as she gets a chance, she'll answer you. So give her 3 seconds and she'll answer you. 949-8037 and 949-6990. All right, we're going to try this next call. We do recognize that Flo has advised that on their end, they're experiencing some issues. It could be a huge uptake, so let's try this WhatsApp. All right, try calling us on the WhatsApp. She reminds me to share with you. 925-3261. Come on, let's say it together, Ms. Susan. Come on. Can you say it louder for us so they can hear you? She is not willing to do that. What is it going to take? Okay, if you say the number, Ms. Susan, I won't sing on air. She's like, what? It's 925-3261 is our WhatsApp line. Again, just quickly told to let you know that on Flo's, and they're quite committed, quite dedicated, and they've been very, very responsive. So just having a slight little challenge. So for the one or two callers that were trying just then, persistence, they say, pays off. We recognize that it can be sometimes frustrating. You want something, there's no seeming reason why you can't have it then, but if you give up, you may not get there. Think of the the Olympians. They spend not just 4 years preparing between one Olympics and the next. For some of them, it's a lifelong commitment. Very much like that individual, who starts as a journeyman apprentice and then becomes a master plumber. That young lady who, works with her dad diligently in evenings and weekends, restoring that car that maybe he dreamed of as a child. Perhaps it was his father's. And it's day in and day out. Sometimes, knocking the skin off your knuckles because you can't seem to get sufficiently under the frame. If you want it, you got to be willing to work for it. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the compliments of Flo if you can, 1-800-534-8255. Or WhatsApp call, 925-3261. I was asked late yesterday by someone just in passing, could we discuss a number of things? And I said, well, what are you thinking? And then I asked, well, would you be willing to come on? And no. And I understand the reservation some of us may have, because we don't want a sense of publicity. We don't want the message to be somehow mixed up with the messenger. And we often do that. Or that people may think you have, as they say, you got a horse in a race. And it's just that some people see an issue and believe it needs to be properly addressed. And if they were to raise it, people might associate it with them and somehow not be as enthused to have it, addressed in a way with a meaningful outcome. Take, for instance, the notion of, people who rent properties. You may be a tenant and have experienced things that you thought were unreasonable, unfair. You may be a person that owns the property, and likewise have been challenged with non-payment, with people behaving in a way that causes not just potential or actual, destruction to the property, or disruption to other, tenants or owners in the space. What do you do and how do you address it? You may be the person who's been contracted to manage such a property, and how do you, fit into the landscape? How is a complaint, being resolved? How is an issue being addressed? And is legislation a key? If so, to what extent? Take, for instance, an individual who shared, someone was in a property, was late on making the rental payments. Sometimes not only late, but a few dollars short, and then sometimes, refusing to pay at all. Should that person be removed, from the space? And if so, how? Is it, as many have shared, when they, call for assistance from the police or some other entity, they're told, it's a civil matter, or there isn't no body to, sort of address the issue. And that body, the body politic, not the body individual. And when you are trying to accommodate, this individual or this group of individuals who experience it hard financially and personally, you want to work with them. But end of the day, the loan payment has to be made. The utilities for water or electricity otherwise have to be paid. The person staying there isn't necessarily, a bad person, but financially isn't able to. How do you address that? Well, what about the case where an individual somehow has intervened, whether it's family or family adjacent, and is, for want of a better way to put it, receiving the rent payments from the people who occupy the property? They probably do not, or allegedly do not, own the property, but is benefiting from the rental income and depriving the legal owners. Well, let's see if this next call can help us. In 949-8037, 6990. Toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp call 925-32621 if you so choose. And always good to hear. Again, for those who have shared with us that they were trying to get through and they can't, Flo has always been, over these decades, in its early iterations of, always been a incredible, indelible part of our community. Let's take this. Let's try. Okay. And is our guest there yet? Miss Susan. All right. We're going to pause. We got a scheduled break. We got a call. Let's see what we can do. But let's pause first. Stay tuned, please.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's that time of year again. Cayman Airways is celebrating its anniversary with airfares on sale. Tickets are now on sale for some of your favorite destinations: Miami, Tampa, New York, Los Angeles, Kingston, La Ceiba, Panama, Havana, and even Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. But hurry, this sale ends August 10th. Other conditions apply. Book online at CaymanAirways.com or call 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 56 years as Cayman's award-winning national airline.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
Hi everyone, I'm Roy McTaggart, and I'm here with Joey Hugh to tell you about an exciting Progressives event coming up.
That's right, Roy. We're inviting all members and friends of the Progressives to our National Council meeting.
It's happening on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. at the Seafarers Association Hall, 11 Victory Avenue in Prospect.
Join us to hear about our plans and bold vision for the upcoming election and meet our dedicated Progressives members of Parliament in person.
And yes, there will be delicious food and drinks.
We can't wait to see all of our Progressive family and friends here. It's a great opportunity to get involved and stay informed.
So join us at the Seafarers Hall on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. See you there.
Stronger, safer, future. Vote Progressive. Caring and
Work's new jobs and online payment services is officially live. Experience a more user-friendly site with easier navigation and enhanced features. Job seekers can now explore additional features tailored to their needs. Employers can benefit from a streamlined process for managing job posts and applications. Online payments are now a breeze. Discover more at worc.ky or call us at 945-9672.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a PACE, prostate, and colon cancer educational meeting on Tuesday, August 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the West Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church. Presentations and free PSA testing will be done by Dr. Grant Davis from Rehoboth Clinic. For more information on prostate and colon cancer, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Tuesday, August 13th at 6:30 p.m. at the West Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Always, if you wish, Mom. She a wonderful guest, internal medicine physician over at the HSA, Dr. Rowan Movin. A joke I share with my guests, I'll share with you publicly. They ask, well, do I need to wear my headsets? And I say, well, I only wear mine to keep my hair in place. That's a nice joke. It's the one joke.
Hair?
Hey, come on, just laugh. But no, our headsets are for me to look cool.
Okay.
For me to hear Miss Susan. And the cool looks good, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool looks good on me.
Yes.
And when we get callers. So you don't have to... Many who put them on find that because they hear themselves and repeating is kind of confusing.
Gotcha. Yes.
Others like me just look good with it. I mean, think about it. How are you today, Mom?
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yes.
Well, when you leave here, my prayer is that you will be even better.
Oh, wonderful. In the name of Jesus. Thank you so much.
See,
yes.
claim it, name it, and it shall be.
Yes. Agree.
And I'm thanking you. May I invite you? I would do it for you, but my hand will not extend that far. Grab your microphone with the base right here. Pull it in a forward direction, at an inclined 45-degree angle. Then look direct. That's good. It's like good, Miss Susan. She's like, man, what are you drinking this morning? There's good coffee for my friends over at Treats, man. I always enjoy it.
Yes.
We say laughter is good medicine.
That's right.
We recognize that through living we get to learn. When we can benefit from others' expertise and experience. And I'm honored that the continued commitment over the years by a government in investing in healthcare, the physical plant, their continued training, but even others who spent that time studying, the radiologists, right, who may become like the Dr. Rados of the world, and or the internists like you and Dr. Nelson and all the others who may get into nephrology. That investment in health and well-being is so key. I want to be careful that I don't insult even myself in saying this, but we take our health for granted.
We do, absolutely. Yeah, we do things and I guess we just pray and say, oh God, I hope that doesn't, I don't suffer too much for this, but they still do the same bad habit.
Yeah.
They still, even though they know it's wrong,
Exactly.
they still do it and just hope.
I was studying over the weekend. I stumbled across, I think he was probably one of the better presidents the U.S. has had, Ronald Reagan.
I think I was like one.
I almost was starting to like you. Okay, can we exchange this guest, please? So Ronald Reagan, not because he was an actor, not because he was the governor of California, but there's Ronald Reagan, and he talked about faith and health and investment and stuff. And one day he says, here's this fella as a testament of faith. He's running, he slips, he falls over the edge of the cliff. And, luckily being healthy and agile, he grasps this lone, branch hanging over. And he says, God, if you're up there and you can hear me, save me.
Okay.
God says, if you have faith, let go.
Ouch.
And he looks down and he's that 300-foot plummet, sudden and, definitive death.
Right.
And he says, is there anybody else up there?
Oh, no.
So, such is life, right?
Yes,
but we must, as you shared, when it comes to health, not just recognize it. We've got to be active and conscious.
That's right.
But is it just exercise? Is it eating, sleeping? I mean,
no,
what is
absolutely not.
Okay,
like
what
obesity itself?
Yeah, what constitutes health? What is, we hear obesity. I remember going to the physician and she said, "You're overweight," and I go,
but I look good.
Damn,
I'm a little fluffy.
I said,
but I mean,
cuddly,
for the Caribbean, it's
cuddly.
okay, right? That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, not fluffy, cuddly.
Cuddly, okay.
Yeah, I'm just lovable.
Oh my God. Yeah, in Caribbean, we tend to like that sort of thing. Fluffy, cuddly.
Right.
But is it healthy? So obesity itself, we have to remember, it's a disease, right? It is actually a disease it was recognized as a disease in 2013. Yes. Thank God for that, right? Because they realized that it's an actual dysfunction of physiological hormones and such like that cause us to be unhealthy. Right. So it's complex. That's one thing about it. It's chronic.
Chronic. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it's relapsing. And the definition is that it's excessive body fat.
Okay.
Right? Just excessive body fat. And the causes are so varied.
You said excessive body fat, and a term that immediately comes to mind is something we hear, BMI.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is that something we should be paying attention to?
Oh, absolutely. So the BMI is like your first pass.
Okay.
Okay. It helps us categorize, your obesity, and also it helps us to put you in a box where you say, okay, you're eligible for this type of treatment or this type of treatment. So basically you take your height over your weight, if I can remember correctly. And the significant numbers for us is the ones that are over 27, right?
Okay.
If your BMI is over 27 and you have an obesity related condition, and there are over 200 of those, including stroke, heart attack, hypertension, diabetes, you're considered obese. And then we divide it into 3 classes, and then that guides us into what sort of treatment or how intense the treatment has to be.
Okay, so 3 classes of
basically
obese.
Yeah, class 1, 2, and 3 based on your BMI. The worst one, 3, being the morbidly obese patient.
Okay, and again, trying to understand these and understanding. And I would joke with my physician, and she said, "Oh, you're overweight." And I said, "No, I'm just under height."
Under height.
Because if I was 10 feet tall,
too short for you.
Yeah, too short for my weight.
Okay, right. Yeah. And that actually brings up a very good point.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you look at me versus somebody else, just like you said, who's taller, and then we might have the same BMI, but which one is healthier? That person might be.
Right.
Or the bodybuilder who has more muscle mass versus fat mass, they and I might have the same BMI, but because my fat percentage is higher, I'm more unhealthy than they are who have more muscle. So that's why we tend to use a waist-hip ratio in conjunction with the BMI. So with obesity, a lot of the cardiovascular risk or the health risks are associated with a lot of centripetal fat deposition. So a lot of fat around the abdomen.
The visceral fat?
Yes. That same one. So it's like fat that's hugging and penetrating your organs, like your liver, heart, pancreas, and making them not work. So those things increase your risk. So that waist-hip ratio is very important.
So waist and hip.
Yes.
If I was a tailor or seamstress, I might understand the
you would
difference
know
between the two of them.
That's
they
right.
look like
one
over
the other.
But they're not.
They should not be.
Okay.
Right. So waist-hip ratio, I think for men, don't quote me, I can't remember exactly, but less than 0.8 to 1. Okay. Or women less than 1. So we're looking for those things. So your waist should be smaller than your hip, basically.
I try to, as best I can, in all of my discussions, to try to learn a little bit more, talk to people who know, and reach out to different. And I'm always so grateful for that person who say, "Listen, I want to go 5 minutes, or I got time for 2 questions." And they've always been. So I reach out to different people, and even someone who I think is a phenomenal at making clothes. And I got labeled. The person is a tailor, seamstress, and I learned a lot. There's a lot of engineering involved. So I wanted to ask, our waist, men versus as men, where we put a belt. But I kind of determined that your waist is not
a little bit further above.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Around the navel, like.
Right. And not many of us wear, not many I know of men wear their pants up that high.
I think they were, no. I don't know any man who does that, actually.
Yeah, at least not in this era. But
yeah.
So that's not your waist. But if you imagine it being sort of fitted for a suit.
That's right.
That's what happens.
They would go up there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your hips.
Around that bone that sort of protrudes, that gives you that that hip, that protrusion.
We can see
men they're not gonna have it but for women for sure.
We can see it, right.
I can tell it, yeah.
I'm not trying to be jovial, but I'm saying to people listening that we don't understand. Just like BMI, what does that mean? What numbers we should be looking at? When we're looking at the waist to hip ratio, where does that and how does that play in? And they become significant when we're assessing our overall health and well-being.
Absolutely, yeah.
You also talked about, us in the Caribbean and how we perceive healthy. What's the clip of the song, Susan? Some men like their... I
don't know that one.
Oh, I know it, but Susan's like, don't sing that. Some men like their women with plenty hips. See, you're still young. Susan's going to sing it for you in a minute.
Okay.
I should probably be careful because I might get chastised. That's not a song that we can sing these days.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know that.
We like meat on the bones,
absolutely,
right? We say when you get married and now you put down a bit,
you're happy.
You're happy by living a good life.
No.
And then we get a little bit too happy, you get traded in.
That is true. And that sort of brings to mind the cultural differences that we have. Because I was coming across some different cultures where excessively obese females are attractive, where they feed their wives, like literally just feed them 24/7, just because the bigger you are, the more attractive you are.
Yeah.
Whereas in other parts of the world, we're searching or chasing after the skinny.
Yeah.
You know, the bone waif look or whatever.
Yeah.
So, there's different cultural aspects.
So, Dr. Rowan Moving, I wanted to ask, I wrote down, so I did forget it, skinny fat. A physician, I didn't get a chance to reach out to her. I can't find her email somewhere. Interviewed her many times, and she introduced that term to me long ago.
Skinny fat.
Skinny fat. So there's this person who, as she coined it, look at it and you think they're healthy.
Tiny, right.
But
but their fat percentage is incredibly high. Yeah, absolutely. That does happen. And that's why we have to be fearful and guard against them, which is why we have to actively, go to the doctor and check out these things. We do have, there's specific biometric machines, analyses that you can actually go on, and they will tell you the exact percentage of muscle fat that you have, so you can track it. Several gyms have it here, I know for sure, and several spas also have it. It's like a bioimpedance analysis that tells you exactly how...
Some you grip in your hand.
Yes, you stand up on this kind of steel thing or
Yeah.
silver, and you grip on your hands, and it tells you. And I think that's one of the best things that we have, so you can track your progress if you are on a weight loss or a healthy journey, right? As opposed to just going on the scale.
Yes.
Because we have this concept now, I think a lot of people are talking about changing my body composition, you know, where they want that more muscle, less fat sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that is a good way of monitoring your progress, I think.
We have a break. When we come back, I want to revisit something you just shared in speaking to our region and in relation to BMI. So is that something that should apply across the board to all and sundry? Should we look at particular things relative to ethnicity or different things? And then can we talk about genetics and how that would play into as we talk about obesity? All right. I can be serious sometimes. Today, partially.
What?
We're going to have a engaging, informative discussion, and we're going to invite you to stay tuned. Join us after the break.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
It's that time of year again. Cayman Airways is celebrating its anniversary with airfares on sale. Tickets are now on sale for some of your favorite destinations: Miami, Tampa, New York, Los Angeles, Kingston, La Ceiba, Panama, Havana, and even Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. But hurry, this sale ends August 10th. Other conditions apply. Book online at CaymanAirways.com or call 949-2311. Cayman Airways, celebrating 56 years as Cayman's award-winning national airline.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment is to ensure our islands consider responsible use of our natural resources while preserving our native species and habitats for future generations. Learn more at conservation.ky.
Parents, do you worry that Caymanian culture is getting lost in our youth with so many distractions? Well, the Cayman Islands National Museum has the perfect solution. Join the weekly Immerse Summer Camp until August 16th at the Intergenerational Hub behind Airport Fosters. Open to children ages 7 to 14. The camp runs from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. and costs $175 per week, including meals, admissions, transportation, and 2 t-shirts. Immerse your child in Caymanian history and culture with trips to historic sites and workshops by traditional artisans. Register now at museum.ky/immerse. Proudly sponsored by the Credit Union. The Immerse Summer Camp, weekly until August 16th.
I'm Caymanian born and bred. Come on down and stay a while instead.
Hi everyone, I'm Roy McTaggart and I'm here with Joey Hugh to tell you about an exciting Progressives event coming up.
That's right, Roy. We're inviting all members and friends of the Progressives to our National Council meeting.
It's happening on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. at the Seafarers Association Hall, 11 Victory Avenue in Prospect.
Join us to hear about our plans and bold vision for the upcoming election and meet our dedicated Progressives members of Parliament in person.
And yes, there will be delicious food and drinks.
We can't wait to see all of our Progressive family and friends here. It's a great opportunity to get involved and stay informed.
So join us at the Seafarers Hall on Saturday, August 10th at 7 p.m. See you there.
Stronger, safer, future. Vote Progressive. Caring and
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much to Dr. Rohan Moving, internal medicine over at HSC. And we're talking about obesity, and that's a challenging discussion because for some, it may, and I be honest, I want to be guided by you. We talked about, sometimes the body image and words like body shaming, and I do not like Google, right? And it's certainly, again, you have my permission, not that you probably need it, to chastise me in public, but it is not synonymous with research. And if you're not mindful of what you've typed in and what you've been spitted out and what you read, it could be deceiving and misleading.
That's true. Right? But you just have to know where to go and the actual proper sites that will give you the right information. Right. Part of the educating yourself.
That's it.
So we're not going to go on TikTok and take that information, right? So you're going to go on your, proper websites and educate, right?
But we have in the Cayman Islands, and I as a consumer, for myself and for others, we have physicians at other facilities. So as a medical community, for a small space, we have amazing resources. But as we just focus on HSC.
You have a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Because here, coming from my background, because I've worked in St. Kitts Nevis, I've worked in Jamaica as well. But here, the resources are plentiful. Yeah. And what's available for the management of obesity now, it's amazing. Because we are on par with the rest of the world, first world, right? We're on par with them. So it's like, I'm very happy for that. Yeah.
And what I've gathered, and I say this with the greatest sense of respect and privilege, to sit and facilitate, learn. The physicians here, they collaborate. Their commitment is genuine to that Hippocratic oath. We want to give the patient care.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, bar none. And I thought, yes, there may be a sense of competition from the financial perspective, but the commitment to patient care. Yeah. And I benefit from that. So thank you all.
Yeah.
And in saying that, as we talk about obesity, I was asking as we went into the break, we look at different regions. I'm glad that you reminded us that in some cultures, this is the look, this is the thing that for them is beauty, is health, is valued.
Yes.
It's sought after.
Yeah.
So does that play in when we look at BMI? A person from the Caribbean versus someone from maybe, I don't know, the Nordic countries, for instance.
It's the same point I was making, that different cultures, different what appeals to differently. But what's important is what's healthy.
Yes.
Right? So that's why I try to bring to it. You may think that the fluffy and cuddly look is okay, but we need to make sure that your disease risk of heart attack, stroke, and those things are reduced, which means reducing your body fat if you are overweight.
So a healthy BMI of this is a healthy BMI no matter.
No matter. So what happens? So, example, a healthy BMI is between 18 and 25, according to medical guidelines, right?
Okay.
But as we said, the BMI itself it has many limitations. So a muscular person versus a non-muscular person. So it has its limitations. But we try to stay between 18 and 25. Now, an overweight person, when we come to the determination that they're overweight, guidelines would tell us that if you lose just 5 to 10% of that weight loss, you reduce your disease risk by a lot. So, your blood pressure will get better by at least 4 to 6 millimeters of mercury. So that would help. Your cholesterol levels also reduce. if you just lose that 5 to 10% of your weight, and your blood sugar, all those things. So heart attack risk. So if we just do that, I find that that's the main goal that I speak to when I have the patients. We start with that small incremental loss to gain a lot of medical benefit, and then we move on.
So the exponential increase in the benefits as a result of a relatively small reduction can be encouraging.
Absolutely. Right? That's why I try to entrench into my patients, because sometimes their expectations are not in alignment, right? Yeah. So we try to have our specific goals, but I make sure I tell them that just 5 to 10% is sufficient to get a good start in terms of reducing your risks.
Well, I appreciate you reminding us that sometimes we want that success measured by the weight on what the scale says.
Right.
And it may be no reduction. In fact, it might have increased slightly.
Exactly.
And
so exactly. I like that, because what happens, I always tell my patients, do not look on the scale too often. So they go on the scale every day and see up, down, so they get discouraged. Right. Because as you're losing weight, if you are doing it properly, including your nutrition, increasing your physical activity, resistance, and totally changing your psychological behavior and approach to it, you should be changing your body composition, which means you will be putting on more muscle. And as we know, muscle weighs more than fat. So what we're going to do now is just use body measurements.
Okay.
So we use the neck size, the waist measurements, your thigh circumference, those kind of things to kind of guide and say, hey, yes, it is working.
I want your guidance in this, and maybe it's not as important as I think, maybe it's more important. But I had someone that I trust and respect greatly share, if your goal is certainly measuring part of your weight loss, to weigh once a week, no more, at the same time, on that day,
Right. I agree with that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Once a week is quite sufficient. Once every 2 weeks is okay as well.
Yeah.
So same time, best time I think, in the morning after you've done your emissions.
You get up, you do your shower, you shave, you do all this stuff, and then yes. Okay. Start, whatever day of the week, you do that, and every week on that day at that time, you make your recording, and then you come back, and if it fluctuates,
it's okay. Evaluate, reevaluate, and think about what happened this week. Was I under more pressure? Did I eat something out of the way? Did I not exercise as routinely as I should have? So it helps.
When we're looking at obesity and by extension healthiness, I don't want to say genetics, but that's probably easiest. And as I said, I'm thinking to different people from different parts of the world, but what is genetics, and to what extent?
Genetics, for example, you can see a family. Yes. And mother, father, sister, brother, all of them are a little bit overweight. So genetics do play a huge role in the predisposition to weight gain. Absolutely. But it's multifactorial. Many other things affect it. So our behavior, social behavior, our triggers, our food cues, emotional eating, lack of physical activity. Other things as well, such as our socioeconomic status. Poverty seems to be a thing that's linked to obesity. We're not exposed to the right foods, the healthier foods. So the bad oils, flour, and those kind of things, we tend to just do that. But medications, let's not forget, you do have medications that also increase your antipsychotics. If patients are antipsychotics, they tend to steroids, So if you have a chronic condition and you're on steroids, then you're predisposed to weight gain as well. And medical conditions, thyroid disease. So genetics and plus all these other factors predispose patients to weight gain. So it's a uphill battle already that we have to go up.
Dr. Ron, moving, I in sort of have discussion, able to share. I spoke with someone who has adopted consciously a very healthy, sort of lifestyle, but recalls a time very early on in consultation with her GP, the dietitian, got a personal trainer, doing all the right things, and was sort of, I guess in a sense, prescribed, even though it was over the counter, particular supplements for energy to help with muscle relaxation, little extra minerals and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Only to discover afterwards that her appetite increased significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then that caused, less than the stellar rate. And it was only afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she reminded me, she says part of it was that here she is now all of a sudden now eating more, and everybody's saying, oh, it's because you're burning more, you're more active. And she's like, no, man, my appetite is now, my words, and have a slack.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, that's a very good point. And because research now has opened up into obesity, a lot of people are doing a lot of research, they found that you're on a diet, you're following your nutrition, and as you said, your friend was doing, you're starting to lose the weight. Your body will try to go back to that set point, right? So hormonal changes occur. Your hunger hormone increases, the satiety hormone decreases. There's something else, but it's like your body's wanting to go back to that set point of weight that it was. So this is the relapsing part of weight loss and weight gain that patients go through. So you get more hungry as you're losing weight because of this. So we've just basically, I'm just reading around it and figuring out, I said, because a lot of patients do tell me that they're going on very well and then they're starting to lose weight and feeling really good, but then they realize it's getting a little bit harder, to suppress that appetite, or you're working out, but it's still coming on. So it's a set point. Your hypothalamus just wants you to go back to where you were. And so that's what research has. So now, which is why I think a lot of the medications that we have now help at that point, because it's not only a matter of, oh, I'm lazy, which is what people used to think. Obese person is lazy or they lack willpower. It has very little to do with that. Is your body really fighting against you? So these new medications that have come on really help with that. So in addition to your lifestyle changes, these medications help those patients specifically to kind of continue on their journey so that they experience more added weight loss.
Well, I'm very grateful for you coming, and to you for sharing, from your practice, your experience, your knowledge. But when we come back, can we talk about, are there any particular risk factors, sort of associated with obesity? What are some of the causes, other than what we shared about? What are some of the things that we can do about it? What are, the cost of it, the societal, individual, and the like?
It's a burden,
right?
A huge burden.
After the break, I will ask you to rejoin us. Please stay tuned.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
The Cayman Islands Department of Tourism is offering training for tour operators and vendors through the Aquila Center for Cruise Excellence. This year's training provides an opportunity to learn best practices for enhancing guest experiences and improving sustainability. The training is available free to participants and is offered online or in person depending on the course. You can find out more by visiting Aquila, that's AQUILA.OurCayman.ky for more info and details on how to register. In international headlines, the Belize government has defended the decision to impose a limited state of emergency in the country, saying that the measure has allowed law enforcement authorities to seize weapons from criminal gang members. Guyana has started legal proceedings in a bid to recover more than $34 million from the Trinidad-based Clico Investment Bank, CIB Limited, which has been in compulsory liquidation. And Reuters says Britain plans to gather price data from more than 1 billion units of grocery sales each month from supermarket scanners, as it introduces a new system for measuring inflation in the sector next year. Reuters says the Office for National Statistics is modernizing the way it gets information on the economy, and said the move in March 2025 represents the biggest update so far of its inflation data gathering, covering 50% of the grocery market. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Cayman Islands, your opportunity to shape our future continues. All district public consultation meetings for the draft of the planning statement may be completed, yet we are still asking for your ideas. Go online, www.plancayman.ky. Complete the survey. Share your valuable thoughts before August 6th. Let's all continue to work together to move our country forward. We cannot do this without you. Join us in building a sustainable future. Let's get it right. Share your comments, thoughts, questions on the draft planning statement. This is our mission statement. First step towards Cayman's newest development plan. Visit www.plancayman.ky. Be part of the change.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And in partnership with HSA, as we focus on obesity, we have internal medicine physician Dr. Rowan Moving. I've said that right?
Yes.
I have. Mm-hmm. Perhaps I should say it with a little bit more of a... No?
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Susan's like, what are you going to do with him?
I don't know.
You're going to miss me when I'm gone, trust me. I'm going to take off this afternoon and...
just
25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I mean, you've got to make space for music, right?
Yeah.
Because it's important stuff. It brings,
unity.
That's right.
That's true.
But I was asking about some of the health risks associated with obesity. And I think sometimes we can't really appreciate something. And I like that you remind us, it's not about lack of willpower, lazy. And maybe we said that, not meaning to, but understanding. So,
yeah. It's just part of this stigma that is attached to being overweight. They devalue the person, just look at them like they're lazy and lack of, just go eat less and exercise more, that sort of thing, as if it's that simple. But if it was that simple, everybody would be thin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not. Yeah. So it's such a complex disease, and I'm glad that the world is paying attention to it.
So now. True. And you shared something, if I might, as you said, I'm reminded again, now that we got time to ask. You said that your sort of hunger hormone increase.
Right.
And that satisfaction that you get
decreases.
Yeah. And when you think about it, if they're moving like that,
it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, you want more food because you're not satisfied.
That's right.
I wonder then if there is not just a psychosomatic, but a psychological aspect to it as well.
There is, yes. There's so psychological aspect, absolutely. There's a brain-gut speak or brain-gut axis.
Okay.
Absolutely, that has to do with it. The GLP hormone, GIP hormones.
Okay.
Yeah, that speak to satiety, right? Some people have a good amount of it and some people don't.
I wonder how many of us can look back to events in our life where we can say she did,
Yeah. And like, okay. Food-wise.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad my mom not listening to this. No, but it's important, right? That's satisfaction that we get.
It's true. And we place a lot of it in the Caribbean.
Yes.
We eat when we're happy.
Yes.
And we get satisfied, yeah?
Yes.
We eat when we're sad.
We're sad.
Yeah.
Stress eat.
We stress eat. Emotional eat is a huge thing in the Caribbean. And that's why we have to learn to kind of go through that cue and learn our fullness cues. Okay? So a healthy habit is to eat only when you're hungry and stop when you're full. But when your mother used to say, eat until the plate is empty, you grew up with that.
Yeah.
And then you start to say, people in Africa are suffering and then they're getting food and you have food and you're wasting it.
Stop. You just said you don't remember Reagan, so there's no way that you heard that.
That's of course, my mother used to say it all the time.
That was something that we were told when we were young. You're too young to be told that.
No.
I'm not trying to be, in a way too jovial, but something my father shared with us, and there's not many times when he would say, when we go to eat, there's food on the plate. You say, you're full, you had enough, you don't need to finish it, just cover it up, save it for later.
Wow.
I didn't.
That's unique.
Yeah, that was our norm.
Yeah.
I did not understand the importance, the value of that until I had children, and we did the same. And then we watched friends, not to call them up, who grew up in the same era, just like what you said. You're experiencing that growing up now. Susan grew up 500 years ago. She experienced it. I grew up 1,000 years before that. We experienced. So it's the same practice then as it is now, thinking that starving child in Africa or wherever, that food,
they guilt you into doing it. Yeah,
translates into potentially
it's
a bad eating.
Bad eating. It's a disorder, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so you're not asking people to be wasteful, but if that child doesn't like that thing, there could be food allergies, but the child could be, you know what, not just a picky eater. Do you really want to stuff and create something later on?
Exactly. And what we want to do is give them healthier choices. So you need to eat from a wide variety of healthy foods. Eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full.
Variety is spice
and
of life.
increase your activity. Exactly.
I'll spice my food.
Right. Exactly. So it's not only having a whole heap of rice and a little bit of vegetables and all this fried meat.
So how do we then develop not only healthy eating sort of habits, but you said recognize when you're full and stop.
Absolutely.
And recognize when, like I didn't notice till my daughter told me, I stress eat.
That's another thing as well.
Yeah.
Yes. That's another psychological aspect.
I'm glad that she pointed that out.
Yeah.
Has helped a little bit.
Studying, you need students studying for exams or whatever. Yeah. Snack mindlessly.
And do we substitute the food for something?
Sure.
So, it's all in the exploration of medicine and science. But, we're anxious. We're occupying, and we go.
Use your hands.
Yes.
You have to chew. Yeah. You're driving and you're hungry and you're driving. Mindless is,
Yes. Yeah. And then some of us will crave something.
Certain things,
And so that's when we stress eat or when we emotionally eat. It's,
sugary.
Yeah. It's comfort food. Or we want that
so
thing.
Comfort foods are usually the worst ones, which are sugary, high in fat and sugar content. And they tend to light up your brain like crack, right?
They commit. Well, I don't know about that part, but yeah. You're a physician, you probably know. that some of Fluffy, the comedian Fluffy, right? Yeah. Gabriel Iglesias, he talks about, what's what you call comfort food. And says nobody eating the comfort food is unhappy. It's the person who's eating this healthy-ish salad thing that's unhappy watching you enjoy that comfort food.
So how do we change that behavior?
So how do we do that?
That's it. So that's why the comprehensive approach comes into it. So we need psychological help.
Okay.
So that's where psychology comes into it. So we have to speak and have cognitive behavior change, recognize and accept what you're doing now is causing you ill health, and come up with means and ways that suit your lifestyle, because you can't deviate too much, because this has to be a lifetime journey, something that you can do forever, not just for the next 6 months. Something that's suited to your lifestyle that is encouraging. So replacing food, replacing high sugary contents for high fiber, high protein. So finding other things then, and balancing life. So increasing your activity, walking, finding something, strength training, something active to do in the midst. So behavioral change is like the most important thing. It encompasses everything. We have to change how we eat. We have to change how we exercise. We have to change our approach and our feeling towards food. It's a lot to change, and which is why it's not easy.
But some people, I'm again recognizing that many of us fall in the category even if we don't wish to. We wake up one day and not appreciating that that's been 30 years in the making.
Exactly, yeah.
And all of a sudden now...
In utero.
More than likely, right? That importance of that maternal sort of health of the...
All the cues that you learn from your family during dinners, during this, during that, all the traumas you would have gone through as a child and what you would have, because of the trauma, started doing. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot to change.
I mean, we associate perhaps that food and it gives us that comfort. It brings that thing.
Right.
And it's probably...
It's an escape too.
Okay.
You can use it as an escape, absolutely. Because if you're going through trauma, hard life, whatever, people do use it as an escape and they put on weight.
Slice of chocolate cake has never let you down.
No, sir.
I mean, it's right there. It's willing. It's giving. It's kind. It's encouraging.
It is.
Sorry,
it's beautiful.
It's right there.
That's right.
You just savor the flavor. But we don't appreciate that association that we have. And if we want to undo that thing that's been decades, individual, as you said, but we want it tonight. Because tomorrow.
So, which is why managing expectations is so important. And you have to take time and know that whatever your why is, whatever your goal is, it's going to take time. And you just go steady and slowly. Slow changes. That's what I always speak about.
Is it too late? So you're 50, 60, 70. And you know what? You're recognizing that maybe your joints hurt. Maybe you're tired of buying bigger clothes, whatever the and you say, I want to do something, but I'm 70 years old.
It's never too late. Absolutely. Especially as we have aging population. Osteoarthritis happens to be one of the obesity-related comorbidities, right? And if you relieve weight, you relieve pressure, you feel less pain.
Right.
Especially on weight-bearing joints like your knees, hips, man. So even those patients do experience a better mobility, easier mobility with weight loss. It's never ever too late.
Can I turn that coin over and ask, is it too early to start considering healthy eating options? I don't want to say weight, but I'll allow you to guess. I mean, is it too early?
I don't think it's never too early, because these things, these habits, they form like in infancy, like preschool and those kind of things, where they like the sweeties and the this and the that, and the cupcakes, chocolate cakes, ice cream. So if we were to actually start at that stage about what your healthy plate looks like, and start them on broccoli instead of cotton candy,
yes,
we might actually have a healthier society.
So I reached out to a friend to sort of compliment what you just shared. I asked if he would call. He said, no way. There's nothing I can do. So I kind of said, well, I'll tell people publicly about something. He said, oh, you wouldn't. He loves chocolate. Okay.
That's
so
okay.
like me.
Yeah.
But see, he's a secret chocolatier. He wanted me to share this very consciously in his household when the children were very young. Out of advice from, a trusted medical professional and whichever, decided to not have certain things and to gradually reduce, like added sugar, for instance. And he found that worked well while the children were home. As they went to school, everything
changes.
Right.
Yeah, exposure to their friends, their friends' snacks. Oh, that one tastes nice. That tastes sweet. Prefer this one over. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the hard part.
So back to what you're saying about healthy society, right?
Right.
If we buy into this all, then...
So it goes right down to governmental policies and maybe what they allow school lunches. Well, for example, in Nevis, I know where I'm from, the preschools now, they serve according to that healthy plate adage that they have protein, vegetable, starch in that food triangle. So before they used to do things like hot dog, pizza, but now they're actually doing healthier stuff. Vegetables, carrots, grains. So they're introducing the kids to what a healthy plate looks like at that stage, hoping that there's going to be a generational change. Hoping, right? But I don't know if it's possible because we are entrenched in our...
Right.
But
you just share generational change. This is not something that is going to happen overnight.
Oh, no, it cannot.
Right.
It will not, right.
And there's even discussion as to whether the food pyramid versus the food plate and all these other things. And
it's
confusing.
It's going to be turned on top of its head. Absolutely. Yeah, because now we realize that proteins are more important, healthier fats are good, and fewer carbs, right?
Yeah. And how do we make sure that even in the fads, again, that's the one term I'll use, we're now no longer eating this, we're now being pushed to eat that, or we're going to avoid this, or we're going to carb load because you're bodybuilding, or it's all these things, but then what constitutes that healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, you just have to go back to basics. Go back to absolute basics where you know that my plate should look more, for example, more protein-based, whether it is meat or plant-based protein that you are into. a third to half the plate should be that, and then your vegetables, and then your carbs. We need something from all the food groups.
Okay.
It's just the proportions. So when you go to a restaurant, I think most of the times, or not even restaurant, but your plate looks more all rice.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Or you have rice, then you have plantain,
some bread kind.
then and then you have a macaroni cheese pie. So all of that is carbs, and then you have maybe like one celery, one whatever, and some. So we realize that we're carb loading every day.
Yeah. Without realizing it.
That's where the problem lies, because we're not using that excess energy that we're putting in, because we're not regularly exercising to use it up. So it gets stored somewhere. Where is that? Around your liver, pancreas, heart, tummy, right? Causing all those things.
We're going to take the final break, but when we return, could we ask about the impact on our organs, and maybe how the liver comes into play and how it's affected.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But also, if we have time, that idea of exercise. And I know some will struggle with doing a push-up and be embarrassed because we can't. We probably can remember when we could. Perhaps we can never remember when we could. And then how does that play in? But that impact on our heart, our liver, any other organ. And maybe we could talk about that and get people to realize it's never too late.
No, never too late.
All right.
Never.
And she sings like a heavenly angel.
Sometimes.
As we pause, we'll take this break, and when we return, more talk today.
Oh, yes.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments August 15th to the 20th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com. That's drporterkman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks so much. I look and I now understand why, as a champion for healthcare and for education, why I see it is a pillar, one of the two main pillars in our society. Strong, robust education and equally strong, robust healthcare.
That's right.
Sectors.
Let's make both free.
Yeah, as it should be. It is. Dr. Livingston Smith from UCCI was on earlier. The idea of knowledge acquisition and transferring what you learn to others. As a physician, we come in, we talk to you. We learn from your experience, not just academic, but as you interact with others in other jurisdictions. And we recognize how more we are alike, and how that person, as I was sharing this prior to the break, may feel alone, may feel, how do I put it nicely? Insecure, less than.
Yeah, well.
I can't even do I remember when I could, and now would have already failed and quit before even starting.
Yeah, but that's the key, though. You know, everybody's going to fail at one point or the other, and but when you do decide to start, you have to just say, yes, I'm going to do it and start, and accept that you will fail, and that's okay.
But it's not a failure. It's just an attempt
or learning.
That didn't work.
Okay, exactly, and that's okay.
Yeah,
because you will drop off, and then the next day is another chance again to start back. That's okay.
Yeah. As we wind the discussion up, I don't think enough of us understand the impact this excess weight around the waist, the liver that has. Because as much as we might think we have X-ray vision, we only see that when we're at a particular
autopsy. When you open them up and see all that fat that is bathing the liver. Yeah, absolutely. And choking it, essentially.
Yeah. You remind me of my friend, he says that's the best and only time you know what really was wrong with a person.
100%.
Yeah. And we don't want to be there because it's kind of late, right?
It's too late. Yes.
Physicians are the best moment.
Boy.
So how do we figure that out now?
Yeah.
And how do we look at the fat that's in us that we can't see?
We have studies.
Okay.
Ultrasound, elastography, CT scanning. So we can actually see and quantify a fatty liver, for example, which is one of the main things I would look at as I approach an overweight patient on their weight loss journey.
Okay.
At baseline, you do the abdominal ultrasound or the elastograph, and you measure how fatty is that liver, because that increases the risk of diabetes, hypertension, heart attack, stroke, developing even cirrhosis. So as a matter of fact, fatty liver from just our sedentary bad lifestyle is replacing alcohol and hepatitis B as the number one cause of cirrhosis. Can you imagine? Like when I read that, I was blown away because learning in med school 100 years ago.
You can't put it
on. I can't do that one.
No.
We always linked cirrhosis of the liver with alcohol, right?
Yes.
And infections like hepatitis B and C. But now they're saying that just dege fat, okay, is gonna do that. So it's like it dawned on me like, oh my goodness, this obesity epidemic is a serious thing, and we are killing ourselves, and we need to sort it out.
That's lifestyle or food, sedentary, right?
Those kind of things. So it's making the liver not work. So the fat is being just deposited in these organs and impairing how they function, right? So that's something we need to look at seriously.
And this is when I was preparing and trying to read, and there was a case study where the person had cirrhosis, and the family said, but he didn't drink.
Right.
And what do you mean? And subsequent, they realized what it was.
Right. Obesity related. Absolutely.
And
kidney disease too.
Yeah.
You have obesity related glomerulopathy. It just doesn't work. It's too much fat. Yeah.
But the person was overweight according to the family, and they were a little bit chunky,
fluffy.
And so we have this notion of the obese person as being this thing, but are we looking at all? Back to when I wrote down, I want to ask you about skinny fat. It was a term that stuck with me. So we can't judge, we can't judge the book by its cover.
That's right.
We can't look at the person and say. So when we come to for a checkup, 2 questions immediately. Is it a regular GP that we go to? And then secondly, when we want to ensure that our liver, is not a fatty deposit, fatty liver, or there is other underlying things that potentially could affect us from the prospect of being overweight or unwell and not realizing it. GP, and what questions should we ask?
Well, absolutely. The GP is your first line of defense, right? They can pick up all these things that can be all these complications with tests, and they can initiate treatment once you come to a determination with the patient. For specific things that are wrong, for example, liver disease, heart disease, very uncontrollable hypertension or diabetes cases, they can refer up the ladder to maybe like a specialist or internist. So the help is there, but certainly the GPs are the first line.
And then we all probably know someone, I mean, even been ourselves. We were overweight. We were heavier than we wanted. We've started, proper exercising, form, technique, different things. To what extent that physical activity will help with our body transformation, making us healthier, improving our BMI, can we reverse or reduce the fatty liver?
Oh, it would help greatly.
Okay.
Because the exercise would improve the utilization of energy. So the fat will start, energy from that fat will start being used up, right? And at that same time, because you're adding resistance, you're building a little bit more muscle. That muscle is more metabolically active.
So you burn more.
So you will be burning a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you couple that now with eating just 300 to 600 calories less than your maintenance, and you will start to lose weight. And then your body will start to shrink. Your waist will come in, and then you start to see muscle. Then you get more energy, and then you get more inspired to do even more.
It's
it's like, hey, let me add a little more pep to that step that I was doing yesterday, or so
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactamente.
Yeah.
Now that resistance training. So we'll get nearer discussion. This has been delightful. I've been, truly engaged and very informed. So thank you. We want to leave our listeners to be motivated and go there sensibly. Don't exercise. Don't start today. Try a marathon, right?
Absolutely not.
So what do we do? What should be, no pun intended, but our first steps?
Yeah. So what can you do? First of all, you have to think about that. What can I do? Do I have arthritis? Can I exercise? How much can I do? You don't want to be, I'm getting breathless, so I have to stop. You can push a little. You can push just a little, but always listen to your body. That's what I always tell him. Listen to your body. When you have to stop, you stop. But you start small. Walking, brisk walking or whatever. You don't have to expend money to go to a gym specifically.
Especially here. I mean, wow.
Right.
So many places, right?
Right. There's so many places. I see parks, walking areas everywhere.
Yes.
I think every township has
a
park where you can actually do something. And there's so many things on YouTube as well, which is an excellent resource, by the way.
Yeah.
You can walk like miles in your living room if you want to, and do exercises that are with resistance using chairs, anything at all. It's an excellent resource for people who want to do stuff at home.
Yeah.
And you can just start slow and go slow and gradually improve.
Yeah. So I'm reminded that the proper form, technique.
Oh, yes.
Is key.
Absolutely.
We can injure ourselves without any weights doing something improperly.
Yeah. Which is where trainers come in, but trainers also come with moolah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we get paid big bucks, man.
Okay. I'm listening to you. Okay.
No, but you know what? Our health is our wealth.
That's true. Yes, true.
So
prioritize.
Yes.
I guess.
Spending that money on a healthy
But proper
lifestyle.
form is absolutely key. Honestly, I have been there, and I remember hurting my back because I lift some weight wrong, and I'm suffering for it now, But that's true. Proper form is key. You don't want to overextend. You don't want to hurt. Yeah.
Understanding, and you motivated me to seek out someone who I think has a vision that I share, and I think we will draw on you as a partnership, because the healthy community, as you shared earlier, that is important for our well-being. Can you imagine if
for your kids and your kids' kids? Yeah.
I mean, there are societies where they have these little parks in the town centers. A little pull-up gym.
Hey, you guys, there's something up at Public Beach.
Have you been there?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Amazing.
that's amazing.
Amazing.
And I think there are free classes every Thursday.
Yeah. I have not been in a while. Again, probably did something properly, but we can do this. And then the second, as we have a partner, have your co-worker, an accountability buddy.
All right.
Just someone that you can laugh with as you exercise, and it won't become work, it'll become great fun.
That's true, yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts that you would like to leave with us, Dr. Robin?
Well, I just want, for that person who is thinking about taking that first step, you just have to remember not to blame yourself too much, and know that just like heart failure and kidney disease and diabetes, obesity is actually a disease.
Okay.
So don't think of yourself as being lazy or having lack of willpower. Don't devalue yourself because of it, but just recognize what parts of your life are predisposing you to it, and do small changes. I think with you and your doctor can come up with some things that you can do, which would encompass a nutritional change, behavioral change, thinking of your approach to food, psychological change as well, and the use of medications. Let's not forget, I'm a pill pusher. I cannot come here and not talk about pills, okay?
I was, avoiding. Can you come back and talk about all seriousness? Because sometimes we need that we need that help.
There are people who absolutely need that, especially as when you lose that first set of weight, you realize that things are changing and that you need that little extra
That's right.
push, and that's where the medications come in. And there's no shame, nothing wrong with it at all to use it.
You're working with your physician. She has prescribed
and we
something.
Monitor.
Yeah. Can I then ask, if we want to see you, do we start with a GP? Do we just make an appointment with you?
Right, you have to start with a GP.
And get a referral up to you.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm hoping that people, as you shared, recognize the invaluable resources. It's not limitless, but we have significant greater resource.
Absolutely. But the other thing is, even though I know I deal mostly in traditional, in non-traditional medicine, Western medicine, I'm also exposed and aware of the traditional parts, right? So we do have natural approaches, quote unquote natural approaches that I can work with the patients as well, who do not want that sort of thing. Yeah. So we have those things available. We can
understanding where we want to be. You can guide us to get there. Yeah. And not trying to do that overnight.
Right, because it's important what you want. It's not, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But we have to come to a mutual understanding as to what's best for your lifestyle.
Sometimes you just got to know what you want.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
That's right.
And hopefully we'll have you guys back on again.
Who? Me and who?
You know what? Some days, the end of the way are just good days.
Okay.
We invite people to come back tomorrow for more talk today. I am honored that we have the opportunity to showcase and celebrate the fantastic healthcare system that we have, and especially HSA, and commend you and your team for willingly continue your studies. We as patients can benefit, and as a community, we can attract many, because we see what we have here. So
absolutely.
Thanks very much for making this such an informative
I loved being
discussion.
Here. It was great. You're a good host.
I try. Thanks to Susan for making it that much better. All right. Tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Well, we have Mr. Art in the morning, and we have talk today. We invite you to come back. I think I know what's on the schedule, but let me think about that later and tell you tomorrow. To everyone, your health is your wealth, and make your health as best as you can, and have a friend. Together you'll do much as you enjoy it. So until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.